I find your content intriguing because exactly as you said, you don't really bite your tongue, you don't pull your punches. I'm very much that way. I like to make fun of the dirt sheets. I like to poke at Meltzer. I like to just have fun with this. It's wrestling, man. You got to be able to take the piss. And I enjoy what you do, but you drum up a lot of controversy, I guess, if you will. You piss a lot of people off. So I guess just like, when did you start making content, and what made you want to start making pro wrestling content?
Well, first of all, I don't mean to piss people off. It just happens. So I think when I first started wanting to be a YouTuber and be specifically a wrestling YouTuber is when I saw that. I don't know if WrestleTalk and Cultaholic changed or if I changed, but I just wasn't. I wasn't feeling what they was doing. I feel like they wasn't adding anything. I felt like that I just didn't believe a word they said, and then that changed also to JD because I listened to JD, watched JD for since 2016 up until the end of 2022, so 6 years. And he started change with all that. Oh, my Mercedes Venado! Oh my God, I'm Mercedes Venado! Oh, Vince McMahon's responsible for everything. And that was getting annoying. So I thought, right, I'm going to do my own thing and see how it goes. And it started off on a very rocky road, but I found my way eventually.
Yeah. So, did you? The joke is, in the UK, everyone's a bunch of like Meltzer marks type thing, and you can tell with WrestleTalk and all that. Do you fall under that description? Would you say yourself, or are you?
No, I do not fall under that description. However, back in 2016, we'll go back to that year again. When I just got back into wrestling after a few years not watching, what happened is I bought into the hype of Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, New Japan, Dave Meltzer at that time, 2016, 2017. And eventually, as the years went by and I started to grow up a bit, I felt like, yeah, and I saw what they did. I saw what they was like in AEW. I felt like these guys they're pretty overhyped. I don't understand. Apart from the Bullet Club T-shirts, I don't understand what people see in them. And I started to follow AEW a lot less because I wasn't really into what they was doing. And this was before I joined the IWC, as people call it. I wasn't on Twitter or X at that time. I joined that in, I think, November 2022. And then when I first got that to somewhat help my YouTube channel a bit, because I really didn't know what to do with it, I noticed how AEW fans were. And anytime I'd make a criticism about AEW, man, or I didn't know who a specific wrestler was, I was called all sorts of stuff. I was told I'm not a real fan because I don't know El Hijo del Vikingo.
Yeah.
And from there I started to somewhat dislike AEW, especially with the way Tony Khan acts. And then I got into the trap, and I do call it a trap of anti AEW content because it's fun to make fun of AEW when they don't listen, but man, when you don't make a video about AEW, them views are down. People don't care.
Yeah, man, you gotta learn how to mix it up in there, and I know how it is too. If I go hard at Dave and Tony, I do get more views, but You can look at the channel, man. I'll sacrifice the hits to make sure I talk about Jacob Fatu and all that as well. So you gotta true and honest opinions, and I think it will succeed. So how old is your channel, by the way? I know you just passed 1,000 subscribers. Round of applause for.
Thank you.
And go subscribe if you haven't yet. If you're listening to this, go check out his channel. But when did you start your channel?
It was December 2022. I can't remember if it was right before Christmas or just after.
And so you kind of use X to like Twitter to parlay. Because what I did is like for 2 years before I ever started a podcast, I was in the IWC as Pro Wrestle Times, just talking in the IWC on Twitter. And then when I launched the podcast, I was able to sort of like take a bit of the chunk of the people I had cultivated from there and translated it over to a podcast slash like clips, and then the cute little videos I do, the little edits and stuff. So is that sort of the game plan you're going for?
It was, but I've seen that people on X don't. I don't know if they do watch my videos. People that are subscribed to me never follow me on there, so I feel like they're separate entities.
Yep, they totally can be. I'm starting to find them merged together more now, but again, it was like it was very conscious the way I approached it, you know, personally, the way I sort of cultivated the people and got them to come over. And so yeah, I don't know, man. Just keep your head down, keep grinding, and you're doing a good job for real. I do enjoy your content. I want to ask you, what is the video or the thing you said that pissed the most people off, and who did you piss off, and how did you handle it?
Um, I don't think a specific YouTube video was what pissed people off. What I've done that's pissed people off is, say I make like a little joke online, right, on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, and I don't expect that to blow up, nor am I trying to make it blow up. And before I know it, man, everyone's at me, and it was the main one that went the most viral. It was a clip of Billy Starks from Ring of Honor, and she did this moonsault out of the ring and onto some chairs and landed quite badly on the chairs, right? So I didn't know who this was at the time. I didn't know it was. I didn't know the clip was 2 years old because I didn't check the date, which is my fault.
Right.
But I didn't know it was Billy Starks because I mean she's not recognisable to me. And I said I hope the hot dog was worth it. And I had so many indie wrestlers coming after me. I had Billy Starks making passive aggressive tweets about me and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And there was another one where I shared a clip of Joe Cronin roasting Denise Salcedo. And
Right.
I had, the simps of Denise, they come after you, and Sean was coming at me. Sean was trying to take a bunch of my old tweets out of context to try and make me look bad.
Yeah.
One of them being a tweet where I basically compared Vince McMahon to Michael Myers, in basically that as much as you try and stop this man, he will just rise up and do his best to defeat you, no matter what, because that's what
Yeah.
Vince does.
No, everyone knows that about Vince. How can SRS try and spin that on you?
So that's what. So I basically said Vince McMahon's unstoppable. No one's going to stop him with a gif of Michael Myers. So it was blatantly clear what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
And Sean took it and posted it. And bear in mind, this was before all the real serious stuff came out, all the information. Because at that time it was just, oh, we heard this, we heard there's some settlements, but we don't know anything.
Right.
So it was before the lawsuit where all the information was revealed came out. So even though his weird fans decided to try and call me a Vince McMahon supporter, I mean the evidence is there that A, it was just a joke,
Yeah.
and B, it was before all the serious stuff came out.
Yeah, see, I had like a real intense beef with Sean Rosap. I don't know if you know about it, but like we have mutual friends like in real life. So I was like, listen, I'll lay off the guy, and then him and I sort of had a little peace treaty. But I know exactly what you mean. Like they'll just make up and just whatever to try. It's just to try and get you to back down or whatever. But you can't do that. One thing I will say though, I don't get why. And you weren't even hating on Denise, you reposted someone else sort of hating on Denise. I don't really get all the hate that she does get. But some people say, she doesn't really add anything and she just stays neutral to not piss anyone off. So she doesn't like lose out on any gigs or anything. And I agree. She's not as like salacious or spicy as, let's say, Phil Marks or a Crossman Wrestling. However, though, I also don't hate on her personally. I think she's good for pro wrestling as on that end of things. But yeah, it's crazy that you got attacked for that. Like, it's not like well, unless you did, and I'm mistaken, you did give your own opinion on it. But I do recall that you just shared that clip. I also see people bringing up the hot dog and a handshake thing all the time. Like I know it's like an old adage in wrestling, but ever since you sort of made everyone melt down with that Billy Starks tweet, because I remember that as well. I notice people still bring up the hot dog and a handshake like more now and stuff. I don't know. I attribute that to you every time I see it happen. So
Yeah, it's obviously these things I posted weren't designed to just piss people off. They were designed to, with a little bit of humour. Yeah, I mean, we're allowed to laugh.
right.
We're allowed to have some fun. But people didn't take it that way, and yeah, I faced some backlash from it. And the most annoying part about it all was the amount of notifications I was getting. Man, they just would not stop, so I had to turn off notifications completely.
Yeah.
That was the most annoying thing about it.
Yeah, I do that a lot, man. Or I'll go like, I get so many weird DMs now. Or I get people. I had like Matt Morgan follow me actually right before we came on the air here, so that was pretty cool. I have like a lot of wrestlers following me, or like they'll DM me and they're like, "Hey, I really like this bit you do, or I like how you cover Dave," and it's been blowing me away. But I also get a lot of weirdos DMing me, thinking they're DMing me like information that I'm gonna report. Like I'm not a dirt sheet, dude. I'm here. I'm Weekend Update. I'm SNL. Like I'm just here to make fun of that, you know.
Yeah, I think I've only got one wrestler that follows me, but I mean, I don't know if I want to disclose who he is because he's a bit controversial.
Okay, well, we'll get there. Is it Val Venus?
It is Val Venus.
There you go, dude. I just like it. Yeah, I was just like, who's the most controversial
Yeah,
pro wrestler right now? It's him and his like political takes, and you know what I mean. He's
yeah.
Canadian born, so I'm a Canuck. So shout out Val Venus for his heritage.
Yeah.
And as far as people's politics, I mean, I could give a less, to be perfectly honest. So, so
Uh,
when you go into making content, are you going in there with the aim of like I'm gonna piss people off, or are you just like, no, I'm just gonna speak my opinion and then we'll go from there?
no, I do not aim. I do not aim to piss people off. I just aim to go in there, talk about what's going on because I don't say I report news, but I just talk about it like a bit like you do. I just
Yeah,
talk about it and give my opinion. Do I think this is true? Do I not think this is true? So on and so on. But yeah, obviously some people do get pissed off, and the AEW videos, especially when the ratings come out, man, I'm gonna make a ratings video, and I always get the same people commenting saying, "Oh, ratings don't matter. Oh, you're a failed YouTuber," and then some people threaten me with violence.
yeah,
And yeah, so I do piss people off, but I don't go in there to do that. I just try and
yeah,
add something so someone can come away feeling something new or feeling, oh, this could be this could be that, so on and so on. Like with the Uncle Howdy video I made yesterday,
right.
because they did the interview. Howdy interviews Bray, right? And while I didn't see anything supernatural about this, it's just done by editing. I saw a plot hole. I saw a gap, and that plot hole I saw was, why do five deranged people that dress like serial killers have to have time and enough cognitive behavior to get a green screen and sit and edit some videos?
Yeah,
So I thought they should have done it maybe a different way, where they have all five faction members in this vignette, and Uncle Howdy unmasks to show that he is Bo Dallas, and then he can tell everyone Bray was his brother and how he felt, and so on and so on. But I mean, I get it. The interview seems to have done well with everyone else, and that's fine. I'm only pointing that out because I don't want it to fail. I mean, I really don't want it to fail. So it's under a microscope for me at the minute.
yeah. I kind of agree with you there, but I really did like the Bo promo there, but
Oh yeah.
just the initial like unveiling of the Wyatt Six, I said on Wrestling Soup, I also said it on my live show, that I would have did it like found footage Blair Witch style, where when Nikki Cross crawled out the fuck of the door there, the cameraman gets so spooked that he's like this, and then he runs backstage, and the camera's on Nikki. Then he sees everyone's beat up and bloody back there, and he's like, "Oh my!" Then he looks in the corner, and there's Rowan standing there with a hammer, right? And it's like Blair Witch found footage style. Like no one's done that, so I would have did it that way personally as well, and had them like because they hand Michael Cole a tape and then they play the tape and it's like these high-end edits, and I'm sitting there thinking, why don't they play into like them making these tapes and like that? You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
like they could play into that. So I agree with you a bit. Yeah, but you notice though when you criticize WWE, like, do you notice that you get as much hate as like when you criticize?
I do not get as much hate now. I do get a couple of idiots that try and say that they try and call me an AEW fanboy. I'm like, bro, you've never watched a single video of mine in your life. I am far from it. But
Yeah.
no, I do not get as much backlash when I make a video that's criticizing WWE. But I do get less views, and I probably do get a couple of people unsubscribe.
Wow, that's crazy. It's important that because one day it's gonna not be cool to hate on AEW anymore.
I know this is what I've been saying for quite a
Yes.
while. It's not a good business practice in a way because
To just only rely on that or like have that
yeah.
be backbone, because at the end of the day, and you can go to my earliest videos, I scrolled through them the other day just to remind myself. I have some videos back there, back in the early days from a year ago, year and a half ago, with 80 views. But it's
Oh
about WWE. Now I upload a video, it gets 3,000, 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 views, so it's like I come a long way, but I go back and look at those old videos with like 90 views and I'm like, one day it's going to pivot to where those videos, I'm still going to be making them, and the AEW hate cycle is going to blow over, and then it's going to be like cool to criticize WWE again. And I know that, and the listeners know, the PWT universe, yeah, they know that I've been consistent and that I've just did what I want to do, and that's criticize, laugh at, put over, mark out for, and bury wrestling all around. So I'm willing to take the hit on the lesser views if it means that when the cycle comes around one day, everyone goes, "Damn, Phil Marks, that dude's legit." And I'm glad that you see that, Crossman, because yeah, not a lot of people do. A lot of people are just jumping on the hate AEW train, and they weren't on it when it wasn't cool. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
yeah, it's gonna come a time where it's not cool to hate on Tony Khan anymore, and it's important to have that so people know, your audience knows, like you didn't just pivot just because you're actually making the same type of content, and yeah, you're staying 10 toes down, standing on your business, as the kids say. But